Sometimes I wonder if human beings are just born with this void, with this hole within us that just needs to be filled. Everybody's looking for something. Everybody is trying to fill that void with different things. And many times we convince ourselves that we found it, or that this much of this, or a little bit more of that will fill this void. Even if we're spiritual, even if we're people who know the nature of these things or how human beings operate and how that void can't be filled with stuff or more of anything, and that there's inherent emptiness that can only be filled by continuing the spiritual path. Even those of us who know this, the way that we behave is that we tend to want to eat more, even though when we're satiated. We tend to want to drink more, or we tend to want to have more sex, or we tend to want to sleep a little longer. The need, that void leaks into other things, even for us spiritual people, even for people who are more spiritual than me. This void leaks into things, and it kind of tricks us. It makes us think that, oh, just a little bit more of this or that will satiate it, because it's that hole behind everything. It's that hole behind everything that we do, that kind of dread, or that background noise to it all. The interesting thing is that, in different dimensions and afterlife, before rebirth, everything is satiated. Everything is kind of answered. Everything just is, and it's very obvious the spiritual nature of us when we're in those places, when we're in between lives or we're in an afterlife. The spiritual nature of things is very obvious. It's right in front of us, and we don't look like this per se. We have more energy bodies, but everything's very obvious and in your face, and the nature of things is there. There's no question about it. But no progress happens. You don't advance your soul's journey in those in-between places, in afterlives, or in the astral dimension. Even gods must return here to make progress, to evolve, to reach higher levels of enlightenment, liberation, and moksha. They might serve as stations in the astral realm, but they must return here to actually make progress. That's the irony of it, is that all of it's not so obvious while we're here. We're in the material. We're on the earth. We're not given the answer. The answers aren't obvious. The spiritual nature of things is not obvious. Yet this is the only place where we can make progress. A place where the pain and the suffering exists, where the doubt exists, where the restlessness exists, where the uncertainty, where the fear exists, where all those things that we hate, all these things that the void leaks into and makes us think that we're just afraid of that, or just afraid of death, or we just need to sleep more, we just need to eat a little bit more. It's the void leaking into things, fooling us. But here we experience all that, where the void can leak into things. Finding solutions, experimenting, trying new things to try to fill that void that leaks into things. This is where we make progress through that. Through trial and error, our soul learns, grows, becomes. In a way, that void is a companion, is a friend, and is an enlightener. The darkness brings light in a strange way and helps us move forward. We see the terror and the horror of all these things we worry about and all this pain that we feel. We see it as a whole. But if that whole wasn't there, we wouldn't know that there's more to do, that there's more progress to be made, that there's greater love to experience, there's greater strength to experience, there's more discipline to put ourselves through to become more. That hole, that darkness is impetus for change and growth. That void that we human beings are all kind of born with and despise in one way or another, though we might not call it a void, we might call it fear, anxiety, different moods, anger, self-loathing, self-doubt. All those things are the hole there. We might not call it a void, we might not call it a hole, but that's what it is. And all the negativity is connected to that, all the negative things we feel. But these make us seek and find. And some of us, we seek our entire lives, we don't really find. We don't find a spiritual path or spiritual techniques that can make us feel content with the way things are, rather than having to fill that void or to stop the fear, stop the pain, but just be content with it. That's a huge part of the void. That's a huge part of that hole. It's not getting rid of it. It's not recognizing it. It's just being content with that hole, with that void behind everything. That everything bad that we experience is a part of, like fingers out of that hole. And many people do not make progress. Many people become infatuated with the darkness and lets it swallow them. But if you're aware that you can become better, that if you have hope, that you can find a more stable, a more content way of being, if you have just a tiny bit of faith and belief in a light at the end of this tunnel, not necessarily in death, but a better version of us, that light that we're always shooting for. If you just have a little bit of faith and belief in that, then you have a direction and you have fuel that you need to get there. As little as that fuel feels sometimes, and as tired as we get sometimes, and as fed up as we get. Sometimes we get fed up every day. Sometimes we get sad every day. Sometimes we get angry every day or depressed every day. But there's a part of us as well that knows that we're more, and that this, as we are, isn't at the best we can be, that we can become better. It's our soul informing us. It's our soul informing our conscious mind and our personality and our ego and who we are. Our soul informing us just through little nudges and little hints, and through this sensation that there's more. If you listen for it, it's what is behind, your soul is what is behind the hope, the love, the laughs, the little contentments, the little strengths, every discipline that you put yourself through and you do it, and you actually achieve it. Your soul, those are its fingers. Those are it informing you and showing you just a little bit of that light that can become so much greater as you move forward in your life and as you become, as you progress. And yes, the void is there, the hole is there. It's always informing all the bad stuff, but our soul's there too, always informing and hinting with all the good stuff at betterment, more contentment out there. don't feel like it's hopeless. Deep down, you know it's not. And just keep trying. Just keep moving forward and progressing. That's what we're here for. Be informed by your soul. Listen deeply. Try to think deeply and see the light behind. And you'll get glimpses of the remarkable person you can become. At any rate, thank you very much for watching. Feel free to like this video. It helps out the channel. Feel free to leave a comment. That also helps. And feel free to share this wherever you like. At any rate, thank you very much for watching, and hope all of you have a wonderful day.